Well, hello everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to give you some insights on the new moon in Gemini that is coming up on June 3rd at 3:01 a.m. Pacific time. This new moon occurs at 13 degrees of Gemini. And so what I wanted to say about this is first off, this new moon is in a big astrological pattern called a T-square. And so what that means is this Gemini new moon is opposite the planet Jupiter at 20 degrees of Sagittarius and square the planet Neptune at 18 degrees of Pisces. So it looks like a T. So we call it a T-square, and it is a challenge. And all three of these planets are in mutable signs, and mutable signs, which are the mutable signs are Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, and three of these signs are involved. And these signs are about change. They are about change and adaptability. And when there's a lot of energy in mutable signs, there can be a tendency to get scattered and overextend oneself and have some difficulty with focus. So it's really important to be aware of that, to know the energy is moving fast, and to be aware of overextension and chronic busyness. Now, the moon in Gemini. Gemini is the sign of communication, or the new moon in Gemini, which is the sun and the moon in Gemini. And the ruler of Gemini is the planet Mercury, the god of the mind, is also in Gemini. It is at 27 degrees, so it's close. It's in the same part of the sky, but not exactly conjunct. But I would call them still together because the Mercury, I would say, is also being impacted by this T-square. So Mercury is the sign of communication. And so it's really important to, I would say, speak from the heart and also listen from the heart. As this new moon is impacted by Neptune, and Neptune is about unity consciousness. And Neptune symbolizes the divine heart of the universe, the unconditional love of the universe, where compassion resides. And so this new moon is really telling us to speak from the heart and to listen from the heart. And in opposition to Jupiter in Sagittarius, which has a lot to do with our belief system. And so it really feels to me like what it's telling us is to reach across the aisle, to share from the heart and listen from the heart to those who have different views than ours, even opposing views. And we're being asked to look through another's eyes, even for a moment, because with the understanding that we are part of the field. We are the field. We are what is called the Higgs field. And every thought and feeling and belief really impacts this field. And the more we can open to another's perspective helps heal this field and brings us into unity consciousness, and diminishes the separation that we feel, especially through the mind, through different beliefs and different thoughts, whereas in the heart we are connected. And that's what this is all about. And it is about changing consciousness to take us back to that unity consciousness, that place in the heart where we are all connected. And so it takes a lot. This new moon is really asking us to listen even more than speak, and to understand we learn much more by listening, and listening from the heart and seeing through the eyes of another. Another piece of this new moon is about this search for the truth, the quest for the truth. What is truth? We are surrounded by falsehood, fake news, all kinds of lies, and under the what was it, how do I say this? In some ways, making lying okay when we know that it's not. And so, what is the truth? Um, it reminds me of that old Jefferson Airplane song. When the truth is found to be lies. Well, we are finding what we have known to be truth, and what may have been true for us at one time with what we knew at that time is no longer true. So on one hand, there is actual lies, and it is really seeing, to the truth of that, and understanding that we will know the truth in our own hearts. But we're also being asked to question everything we think we know and what we believe, because the universe and reality is so much bigger than what our minds have thought to be true in the past. Science is proving this. Old medical models are falling apart. Old scientific models are falling apart with new information about quantum physics and the field, and that we are constantly creating it as we go when our hearts and our minds are aligned. And this also ties us to our belief system. So it's really important to question and to understand that the truth is really in the heart. And there is an old Rumi quote that says, that which is false troubles the heart, but truth brings joyous tranquility. And to know that love is really the only truth. And if something doesn't emanate from love, it's not true. It's false. It emanates from fear, which is the opposite of love. And it is a place where we don't yet love ourselves. And to know that all roads lead back to the heart now, and that is the road we must travel in seeking the truth. And the last piece I want to talk about is the nodes of the moon, because they're so important right now. The south node of the moon, Saturn and Pluto, are all conjunct in the sign of Capricorn. And Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, is traveling with the south node for many months. And the south node represents our past and what we are releasing or bringing into conscious awareness, either way. And Capricorn has a lot to do with the patriarchal paradigm that we have been living in. And it's coming into light that this is a false paradigm, that it is just not really true. It's not based in love. And we are being asked to heal ourselves from the conditioning of this paradigm and to release old judgments of how we have judged ourselves and others. And when we do that, we heal the collective, we heal ourselves, and it does take radical self-forgiveness. And when we can do that, we can then forgive others, and it really takes us into that unity consciousness, which is compassion. And the other piece is the north node of the moon. And so each month we're getting new direction because the north node is in the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, and it is the heart. Cancer is the way of the heart. And so each new moon, the sign of the moon is in a different sign. So there's a different teaching every month. And this month, the teaching is very much about, I'm going to just say words of love, is expressing love, telling others how we feel about them. But it's also about being honest and truthful. And a way to do that of being kind. It makes me think of that anagram of think, to think before you speak. And ask yourself these questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Not all truths need to be spoken, but when they do, they need to come from a place of love and not anger, to get yourself settled. And truth can be a hard truth, but it can be said in a way that is actually helpful. Because this month we're being taught the different ways to change consciousness. because that is the only way we change our world, is to change our consciousness. And so I hope this is helpful. This is Sybil Starr saying goodbye until I see you next month. All right. Thank you. Have a great month.